For a lot of people, this song, Sticker Bush Symphony, represents not only one of the crowning achievements of Donkey Kong Country 2, but of game music in general. Its composer, David Wise, has gone on record stating that it's one of his 3 favorite songs in the Donkey Kong franchise, and the song really pushed the limits of the SNES hardware. Obviously, the song is well composed, but it's more than that. It serves as a backdrop to a hellscape of thorns, barrels, bees, and whatever the hell this abomination is. The bramble levels that this track plays on are some of the hardest in the game, and yet have incredibly relaxing music behind them. The song encourages players to succeed by putting them in a kind of zen state. With this music behind them, players can accomplish anything, and no level exemplifies this better than the game's final, secret stage, Animal Antics. However, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Animal Antics doesn't start with this music. Instead, you have to earn it. This level is built around a central gimmick. It's split into 5 different sections, and in each of those, you transform into a separate animal buddy. All of these animals control differently and represent their own platforming challenges. Animals are essentially power-ups, handled similarly to Yoshi from Super Mario World, and are one of the most fun parts of the game due to how distinct and unique each one of them feels. Since every section feels different from one another, the player's interest is maintained throughout the level. Each animal also dictates what their section of the level looks like, and what obstacles you will have to overcome. The level takes you through a spike-filled jungle, an icy water cavern, and floating brambles in the sky, which makes the player travel through land, water, and air to succeed. The level's 2 unique sections are balanced thematically by being sandwiched between common, unifying jungle sections, making all 3 environments memorable. It takes the player through a journey that's a microcosm of the game itself, rewarding the player for sticking through. It represents everything the game is and everything the developers were proud of, and is as much of an achievement for the designers celebrating their work as it is to the player reaching that point. The first 3 sections of the level are relatively easy for this point in the game, with Rambian and Guard sections serving as a gratifying stampede of speed and a swift swim through a maze, respectively. The slower-paced Squitter section following is put in the middle of the level in order to ease the player in, and his platform-making mechanics act as a compromise between land and air travel, the player ascending to both a higher vantage point and a higher difficulty. There is a bonus level here, offering a temporary transformation that's subtle foreshadowing of what's to come. Even if the player doesn't find it, they're eased into the bramble section with some final, slow platforming from Squitter. However, they'll soon bump into a Squawks barrel, and that's where the level really starts. Squawks is already the most empowering animal buddy, because he's the only one that can fly. To base the game's hardest section around him is an incredibly liberating experience, especially when an earlier, easier level starring Squawks posed as the supposed last level in the game. Squawks also lets you go anywhere, moves quickly, and has a projectile that can kill almost any enemy. But in this level, those advantages are turned against you. There are false paths, which can kill you if you aren't careful. There's a wind, which will make you go faster than you're ready for. And there are enemies that can't be killed with Squawks' nuts. But at the same time, it rewards the player for mastery of these mechanics. You can get bonuses for going off the beaten path. You can go through the section incredibly quickly by using the wind correctly. And you can clear all the enemies that actually end up in your path with careful timing. Making it through this section is an incredible accomplishment and represents mastery of the game. But here's the kicker, it's not the end. There's one easier section at the end of the level where you control a goofy, springy snake named Rattly. Although often overlooked, this section is almost as important as the one preceding it because it lets the player know that they've grown. I'm sure you remember those charts about narrative structure in elementary school with the rising action, climax, falling action, etc., etc. Video game levels often follow a similar structure. In an interview, Mega Man 2 director Akira Kitamura talks about this concept in regards to enemy patterns. After making enemy patterns increasingly difficult, the final pattern is often easy, softening the section's difficulty and encouraging the player to keep playing. Animal Antics employs the same concept, except applied to the whole level, and it's fantastic. After this section, you just have a run to the end and a quick boss fight, and you've completed everything the game has to offer. Congratulations, you've done it. Animal Antics makes the player feel incredible achievement, and it does so through incredibly humble means. It calmly encourages the player to succeed, and is happy when they've done so. It sends all kinds of fun challenges toward the player as a reward for sticking through the game. And it doesn't do this with some expert level about controlling Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong, requiring perfection and frame-perfect inputs on the player's part. No. It takes a fun aspect of the game that players have enjoyed and that the creators know that they've enjoyed implementing, and takes it to the next level and brings out the most in control and level design. Rather than being overbearing, it reminds the player of all the good times they've had playing the game, and still offers them a fantastic challenge while being fun. It's a level that makes the player feel truly happy. And that is how you design for accomplishment.